Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm checking out a 2021 Mazda CX-5 all-wheel drive in the signature trim level. This vehicle sitting on 225/55 Toyo tires wrapped around 19-inch alloy wheels with a gloss silver finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and solid rotors in the back. The name of this color is Soul Red, and it is a very impressive color to me. Hopefully the camera can do it justice. The sun is shining right now, but this is one of those colors that it's like a deep red color, and when you see it at nighttime, when it's sitting in a parking lot and you see street lights shining on it, it just looks even better at night. So it looks great during the day, and at nighttime you're like, wow, this is just an impressive color when lights are shining off of it. Also, the finish is really nice. I mean, it's like for a factory paint, it's just incredible. Has a good sheen to it. Okay, so here in the front, you have the grille kind of underscored by that chrome piece, and it goes into the headlights. The actual grille itself is kind of like a faceted look, and it is a gloss black, kind of sparkles with the sun shining on it as well. It's pretty neat, and it's a concave. The design of the front is really neat, really stands out. It does have radar adaptive cruise control sensor behind the emblem here. Parking sensors across the front, they're kind of blended in, matching the paint of the vehicle. The bottom portion is a matte black. So right in here is a matte black, and that extends around to the side and the back of the vehicle. LED headlights and a projector housing. You also have LED accents as well, and a surround, little halo there around the headlight. And the fog lights are also LED and a little projector focus beam. The turn signals, however, are standard halogen bulbs. Take a look at the profile. It has body colored handles, and upper portion of the side mirror is also body colored. You also have this chrome trim that extends here on the kind of underside of the glass. There is privacy glass from the factory in the back, and it's kind of solidified with the pillars being a gloss black as well. Now that black trim that you saw on the front extends around the wheel wells here at the base and helps with protecting the vehicle from road debris, and it kind of gives it a sporty look, I guess you can say. The wheels are fantastic. That finish that they have on these wheels on this particular trim looks incredible, and the design is neat as well. On the underside of both side mirrors is a little camera. So you can see the camera lens right there. It's kind of like a GoPro type camera. And there's one in the front as well. So there's a full camera system, 360 camera system on this vehicle. And I like the way they've hit them. So you can see this one's right here, and the side mirrors, and then of course there's one in the back. This is what the key looks like, and it's a full proximity key system. And it's designed to where you can just keep it in your pocket and use the vehicle 100%. There is a physical key on the inside that slides out when you need it, but generally you just push the buttons or you leave it in your pocket. So it has the buttons, all the buttons on the key itself are on the edge. And so it's a smooth key, it's relatively light. It is kind of big and bulky for what it should be. But it is lightweight, so that's nice. The edge buttons are kind of interesting. They're unique, but I've had experience with this key being in my pocket and pushing buttons here on the side with nothing else in my pocket and not tight pants or anything like that. Just kind of slip it in my pocket and walk it around, and then I walk outside and the lift gate's up. So somehow the lift gate button is being pushed long enough to where it lifts up the lift gate. So that's kind of an issue for me, having the buttons here on the edge to where they kind of protrude out, and things can touch them. And there's nothing to stop. There's no, like, if they had like little ridges on the side to keep them from accidentally being pressed, that'd be better. But as it is, just anything that presses up against the key pushes the buttons. So keep that in mind. Maybe put it in a place where nothing can touch it or whatever when you're carrying it around, because it's not very good for your valuables in your vehicle if your doors are unlocked and your lift gate's up and all that kind of stuff. All right, so as long as you have the key with you, it could be in your pocket, in a bag, as long as it's on the outside of either the driver or the passenger side door, you can lock and unlock it by pushing this button. So right now it's unlocked. We'll go ahead and push the button and lock it. When we do that, it has the power fold side mirrors fold in. Push it again to unlock it. Now the doors go all the way down. So you can see all the way to the bottom of the vehicle, the doors extend. And there's a seal down there as well. So this keeps dirt and debris from getting in this threshold, and hopefully not getting your clothes dirty while you're entering and exiting the vehicle. So that's pretty neat. So the inside of the passenger side door here, you can see there's some contrast stitching in the soft portion at the top. So this is all soft touch right here. There's some stitching, and this is kind of a little bit like a blue color, I guess you can say, to my eyes. And this is soft. This is soft. This is soft. Now this is quite soft. They did a pretty good job on the armrest. All this is soft materials here on the top. And this is the handle is enclosed, so you can utilize that, put little small things in there or whatever. And this bottom part is a hard touch. Then you have a big wide open space here. Now, you putting a bottle in here, it kind of like, it's not really, there's a lot of room, so it can kind of flop around, but it's just a nice wide open space to put stuff. It's easy to get stuff in and out as well. There's one of the speakers to the Bose premium sound system. Really sounds good. Okay, so the power seat here on the passenger side, you can go up and down. You can tilt. You could do quite a bit here with the power seat here on the passenger. Typically, passenger seats just go forward and back and then tilt the back, but this one has more functionality. The leather seats, they're kind of like a brownish color, real dark, deep brown. I don't know if you can tell a difference. When I first saw them, I thought they were black, but they're actually a dark brown. They're heated seats, and you have the perforations here. They're heated and cooled seats actually, but right now it's winter time, so my main focus is the heated portion. And it actually heats the bottom and the back of the seat as well. And they get quite warm. And the seats are the seats are, you want to test them out for yourself, because they're very firm. I'll just say that. So you want to check them out for yourself, see if you like them. Plenty of leg room here on the front, a little bit of tapering there on the right side, but overall pretty good. The floor mats snap in place. All right, so this is a hard touch surface down here. This is a soft touch right here, and glove compartment is felt lined, nice soft, like a low pile felt. And check out this chrome accents here. This is a soft touch. There's a wood grain there, and then soft touch here on the dash. The materials feel really nice. I mean, it's a really impressive vehicle. When you get in and start checking it out, there's a lot to say that's positive about it. So you can see the swing of the door here on the front, and the opening is nice, real easy to get in and out. And the back is smaller, of course, but still not bad. The swing of the door is a little bit wider, so that way it kind of compensates for the smaller doorway. There's a little bit of issue with headroom there getting in and out, but not bad at all. For a vehicle this size, it's pretty good. The inside of the back door Soft touch, hard touch down here. Similar pockets, similar style. Okay, so the back seat's basically a bench seat. These are heated seats as well, and they are heated on the back and the bottom. So your back and the bottom part of the seat are going to heat up. And the latch system or ISOFIX system for car seats has a little place for you to access the connections there. On the back of both front seats is this pocket. And right in here you'll see some vents. It does have a little bit of chrome around the outside of the vents, kind of nice touch. Significant hump there in the center. And the legroom, depending on, that's my seating position right there. So you can see the legroom is quite a bit diminished when somebody's 6 feet tall sitting in the front. But, this is more of a normal space here. So it's not bad. Also, the seats are quite a ways off the floor, so your knees are not sticking up so much in the air. Okay, so this is a plus and I guess you could say a plus and a negative, is this armrest. This is where you'll find the heated seat controls. So it's a 3-stage heated seat here for the back seats, but you notice you have to access them with this fold down armrest. So there's cup holders here as well. There's also a USB chargers and a little place to put some stuff. But you can't access the USB and you can't access the heated seat controls if you have a center passenger. So you want to keep that in mind. Or if you like put a car seat in the middle or something, or some kind of any obstruction in the middle is going to be an issue with accessing those controls. So not having them here seems odd, but for whatever reason, I guess most of the time there's nobody sitting in the middle, so I guess that's what their reasoning was. But that is a little bit of an issue that I thought of. If it depends on your needs. If you're carrying not that many people, then it might not be an issue, but just want to point that out. There's some tap lights up there. Taking a look at the back of the vehicle, starting here at the top, it has a shark fin antenna that's body colored here. The third brake light is at the top of the glass in this little spoiler. There's some black plastic here as well that's a matte color that does not match the gloss pillars on this side. So if this was a gloss black, then it would solidify this glass a little bit better. But maybe that's not the point of it. Maybe it's a little bit of a design element that's different. So it does have a rear wiper. The tail lights are all LED. So turn signal, reverse lights, all that stuff. The only thing that's not LED back here is the turn signals. There's also a turn signal indicator on the side mirrors. The backup camera, for some reason, is offset. It's over here on the left side. So it's right here. And you notice that the camera in the front was in the very center, but for whatever reason, they don't have it in the middle back here. It has to compensate that when it shows the 360 view. Kind of has to stitch it together a little bit differently. Parking sensors across the back, flat black accent, dual exhaust tips. So it has a turbo badging back here, which is pretty interesting. Signature all-wheel drive. You can see the badging there. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up. You can, of course, use the key. Like I mentioned, it pops up when you push the button. Or you can push the button under here, and it'll lift up. There is one light, and it's kind of like an over-the-shoulder light for your cargo area. And I have a bunch of stuff back here. But, okay, so if you have all the seats occupied with the passengers, then this is your cargo space, which is pretty significant. I think it's really good. Now, there's a 12-volt power supply here on the right side. You notice there's a little battery indicator on it, right in here. And that means that it's connected directly to the battery, and you can use it even when the vehicle's turned off. See this handle here on the right side? And there's two actually here on the left side. I'll show you what that's for in just a minute. But you can see there's mostly everything's carpeted. And the spare tire is under this floor. You also have a subwoofer. So it's a Bose premium sound system with a subwoofer integrated on the top of the tire to utilize that extra space. So that's what that is. And of course you have your tools and stuff around it. Okay, so these seats can fold down in different configurations. So you can fold down this seat, or this seat independently. Or you can fold these down together and have this one up. Or you can fold them all down and have a wide open space. Now these handles are semi-useful because, I'll just show you. So these handles are to release the seat. But when you do that, the only thing they're gonna do is go and just hit the seat in front of it. Unless those front seats are really far forward, these seats are not going to be able to make it past the front seats, the angle of the front seat. So you need to pull the front seats forward, then drop the seats, then you can move the seats back. Because you can notice there's more room down here. So unless the seats are just already happen to be forward, then the handles, you know, they're not gonna save you much time because you still gotta go up there and position the seats and all that stuff anyway. So you can use the handles here, or you can use the handles there. But either way, that's how you fold the seats down and add to your cargo space. So there's a locking fuel door, and it's here on the driver's side, which is nice and convenient. And it has a traditional cap, tether, and a place to hang the cap here on the inside of the door. As long as the key's inside the vehicle, it could be in your pocket, in a bag, put your foot on the brake, hold it, and push this button. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Now you notice the floor mat snaps in place, just like the passenger side, keeping it straight for you. There's your accelerator and brake pedal. The accelerator pivots here at the bottom. And you have a footrest here on the far left. It's just carpeted. There's no protection plastic or anything like that. So let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there's a latch slightly to the left of center. So you just reach in, you gotta get past the seal a little bit and move it to the right, and you can lift the hood up. And the hood has some weight to it, so you wanna be prepared for that. It does require a prop to hold it up. There's the prop, and it swings up. And under here, as you'll see a little arrow, you just put it there. So there's insulation on the other side of the hood. There's also quite a bit of seals. So there's seals here and here. There's one across the back, on the side. It seals up the engine, helps with airflow, to control the airflow. It also helps with the noise. And this is a pretty quiet vehicle, so it's doing a good job. Also, there's insulation on the firewall. This helps with heat transfer, not going into the cabin, but also noise as well. There's also some heat shielding back there because the exhaust is back there. Taking the plastic cover off, it does have some, insulation there on the underside of the cover. We get to see more of the engine here. So you can see the turbos there in the back, powered by the exhaust system, and it pressurizes the air and goes into the front where the intake is. You see the coil packs. You get to see a little bit of the engine here, which is nice. When you take the cover off, of course. The battery is easy to get to. It's there on the right side. The strut towers are braced together with a crossbar. That's a separate structure from the unibody structure of the vehicle. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. So all your power windows are one touch up and down, so that's nice to have. And the front windows are laminated, so I'm gonna stop it right there so you can see. So the glass has 2 panes of glass with an acoustic material there in the center part, and this helps with you know, the transfer of sound going from inside the outside. It kind of dampens the sound. So that's the laminated glass here on the front. Door lock controls are here, and then your side mirrors are adjusted here. You just pick a side by turning it, and then you adjust it like a little joystick. You also have the ability to fold in the side mirrors as well. Now the side mirrors have a blind spot detection system in it, and they're kind of hidden in there. It's kind of hard to see. There's a spot that's kind of like, you can tell it's there, but that will illuminate when there's a vehicle in your blind spot, or using the rear cross traffic alert system if there's a vehicle coming from either side when you're backing out of a parking space. So the power seat here for the driver is a little bit more advanced than the passenger typically, and so we have 2 presets for your power seat, and you can go up and down just like the passenger side, tilt it and all that stuff. You also have a 2-way lumbar adjustment. And like I mentioned, the seats are rather firm, so especially here on the bolsters, they're just like excessively firm. So you want to spend some time sitting in the vehicle before you purchase it to make sure that you can handle the seats, because I knew in like 5 or 10 minutes that it would be an issue for me. So just keep that in mind. To the left of the steering column, there's a few buttons here. So you have the ability to raise the power lift gate, turn on the camera system, which is fantastic. I'll show you that one pretty soon. Parking sensors, you can turn those off or on. You have a little indicator light. The road departure alert system or lane departure alert system, you can turn that off. It gets a little annoying because it beeps out to you all the time if you get close to the line, so I turned it off myself. So this is for the all-wheel drive system, just letting the vehicle know that you're in a off-road condition, so it could be prepare for that. Basically is basically what it does. So you have a tilt and a telescoping steering column, and you lock it in place with the levers right in the center. The heads-up display has the digital speedometer. It has the road sign information. It shows you what the speed limit is, keeps an eye on the actual signs on the road, and it has the number in which your cruise control is set at, things like that. It also lets you know if there's a stop sign as well. Now once you get the heads-up display adjusted, it's not so bad. It's not too distracting. It seems to work pretty good. Now you're stuck with the digital speedometer on the heads-up display, so if you don't like a heads-up display, then you know you're going without a digital speedometer. Now if you need to adjust it, make sure you adjust it before you start driving, because you do have to go into several sub-menus in the screen in order to get to the heads-up display adjustments. So you want to keep that in mind as well. I'm sitting in the driver's seat checking it out, and I have the seat all the way down and all the way back. And this is where I would have to sit. This is where I normally, when I'm driving, I have it set like this, and the footrest is at the appropriate angle at this point. And let me see there, get some more light in here. But the footrest is there. I'm able to reach the pedals just fine. I'm 6 feet tall, just to give you an idea. Now the legroom here on the right side, I don't know if you can see that, the pedal is there, and so that your leg is kind of competing with this console here. So it might be an issue for you. It's a little bit of an issue for me. The seats are more of an issue to me because they're kind of firm, especially the bolsters, but you know, something that it's a little bit different. These seats just don't work for me. So depends on the person. It could be, you know, you might like them. So it's just my particular preference. So don't discount the vehicle just because of my preference. You want to check it out for yourself. The knee room here on the left side is great. You're just a little bit in competition there on the right side. So it's a leather-wrapped steering wheel, and it is nice and comfortable. It gives a little bit in the hand, but not too much. It's got a good thickness. It feels good. It looks good. Has the stitching there on the inside. Now, this is a heated steering wheel, but it's only this portion here. So that part and this part. The upper part and the bottom is not heated at all. So as you can see, it's just there on the sides. So the buttons on the steering wheel here on the right side is for your cruise control. Once you turn it on, you can set it with either the top or the lower button there. Resume in the very center. And then this is for your adaptive cruise control. So this sets the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you there. And of course, you can always turn it off, cancel it here. On the left side is the volume for your radio. And this is changing through your tracks on your radio. And then in the center button, you have a mute button, but it also serves as like a pause button, depending on what you're playing. And this button in the middle, you want to be careful not to push that or that. If you push the center button, that corresponds with the screen between the gauges. We'll get to that soon. You have voice recognition. You also have the ability to answer and hang up on calls. So this is for your Bluetooth system. The windshield wiper controls are here on the right side for your front and rear. Now the windshield wipers in the front have a heated, so it's like defrost them from the windshield. So that's pretty neat, the windshield wipers. On the left side is your turn signal, but it's also your headlight control switch. So you have off, automatic, parking, and headlights. Your fog lights are controlled here. And it also has a auto dim high beams. So when you put your high beams on, it will if this is on the automatic setting here, then it will automatically dim your high beams when there's another car in front of you. And it works quite well. I would say above average as far as how it works, as far as not blinding people, basically. So here's your gauges. Now, here on the left side is your RPMs. On the right side is engine coolant temperature and your fuel gauge. But there in the center, this is a screen, basically, that spills over outside of this dial. I don't know if you can see that difference there with that glare. You can see the screen there. So this is a digitally represented speedometer there in the middle. So using that info button I just showed you on the steering wheel, we can cycle through and get information. So you can see there's a little menu icons pop up here. And you can see the fuel economy is about 23, 24. And so you have blank screen, trip A, trip B. And this is your safety features as far as your adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, that kind of stuff. And your service. So that just kind of cycles through that. And there's also the ability to push the stock right here. And if you press and hold it, it changes your view. So you press and hold it again, you get different information there. So your distance to empty and average miles per gallon. Press and hold it, and it goes to this digital compass. It gives you, useful information each time, or just nothing. All right. If you press it without holding it, then you change from kilometers per hour to miles per hour. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the screen is nice. I mean, you can read it. The black background of the screen is actually black. It's not washed out or anything. So it blends in nice. The letters are white, so everything's popping out. It's easy to focus on. It's easy to read. And just wish I had a digital speedometer here in addition to the heads-up display. Just in case you want to turn the heads-up display off, you would at least still have a digital speedometer. All right. Okay, so this is the biggest upgrade in the 2021 models, and that is the screen. So it's a larger, slightly larger screen, a little bit larger, but the utilization of the screen is better, and the clarity of the visuals and all that stuff. So right now I have now there is a drawback here, I'll show you in a second. This is the navigation map, okay? And the navigation map is good and it's clear and all that stuff, but since this is a thin this way and it's real wide but it's very thin, if you're driving down a straight road, then you don't get to see that far down the road, versus a screen that is taller. You know, some vehicles have a taller screen and not so wide, and this is so you can have more of a view of the down the road on the that's not the main reason, but that's a benefit of those type of screens. So that, you know, that's a little bit of a drawback, but not a huge deal. I just want to mention that while you're driving, you just basically see a little line like this, and then everything else, you know, you see all this stuff that's kind of irrelevant to you, could be on the side. But anyways, this screen is not a touch screen, and so it utilizes this knob right here to control it. You actually have, you know, a knob and some buttons around it. So this is a volume, and you can also mute the stereo or mute the radio by pushing it in. You know, turn the radio, whatever's playing, on or off. You have a home button, you have a navigation button, radio button, and then your favorites button, and then this is a back button. But this knob, let's go ahead and push the home button. When we push home, I'm going to turn the knob, turning the dial, basically the big knob, the big dial, and I can make selections here. So if I go to entertainment and I push down on it like that, then it goes into that. I can always push the back button and go back to where I was. I can always push the home button, go back where I was. I can go to the radio here, and I can go to the navigation here. So there's some quick access buttons here as well. But sometimes when you're in a screen, let's go to settings. I'm going to push down on the big knob. I can scroll the wheel, and let's go to vehicle settings. Now, if I wanted to go back, you see that arrow right there? I can scroll the knob, but if I actually bump the knob to the left, so if I bump the knob to the left like that, you can bump it to the right in certain screens, not all screens. So sometimes you're turning the dial, sometimes you're bumping the dial, sometimes you're pushing in the dial. So it's not that non-intuitive or anything, it's just something you have to get accustomed to versus a touchscreen. A lot of people are used to a touchscreen system, and this one does not have that. Okay, so let's go. There's information there at the top, so you can scroll through and get information here. All right, the next one will be entertainment. This will be your radio, and let's push down the button. It says menu. Let's push that menu. It says push down the button to the menu. So we got a source list, and then we have AM, FM, satellite radio, Pandora, Bluetooth, USBs, and we can also turn the audio off. That's an option as well. Let's go back out of that, and let's go back out of that, and let's go to the main menu button here. All right, so the navigation. We saw this screen before, and push down on the big button, so you see it clues you in that you can push down to get the menu, access the menu. Now we can add a destination, depending on what we have going on. Some of these are, we can add a split screen, you know, like while we're driving, if we have a destination there, We can view the map view, 3D, 2D, north is up, or 2D. Probably 3D would be best, that way you have a little bit of better angle. Alright. Okay, settings. Quite a bit of settings here. Alright, so we can have, well, we can adjust the brightness and stuff like that here. So this is the active driving display, that's the heads-up display. This is where we actually can go in and adjust it. And you notice there's several menus that we have to get to this point. So we can adjust the tilt, we can do all kinds of stuff here. Alright, so that's kind of a, let's go back here. If we push the home button twice, you have just a clock, which I like that. So sometimes you just want to see something simple, focus on the time. You can do that. You can, the favorites here, the star, remember I showed you this button here. We can set up stuff that we want to see. This could be navigation entries, radio, whatever we want to set up as a favorite, okay? And then that way when we push the favorites, we can select it here quickly, so we don't have to go into the submenu. So you could set up your heads-up display adjustment for the favorite, and then that way, you know, you can get to it faster. But once you have it set up for the person, if you're driving all the time, then once you get it set up, it's fine. You don't have to adjust it anymore. All right, there's the vent. I like that. That kind of like a matte chrome going on in the wood grain. It's looking nice. So there's the four-way flashers. Heated steering wheel here. You can turn that on. Heated and ventilated seat controls are here for the driver and passenger. And then your climate control. So your driver and passenger temperatures are here. You can sync them if you want. Fan speed, where you want the air to blow, recirculate the air, all that good stuff. Front and rear defrosters. When you turn on the rear defrosters, the heated side mirrors also turn on as well. There's a storage compartment here, and there's a 12-volt power supply back in there as well. Open that up for you so you can see what I'm talking about. And this is a kind of like a rubber floor in there. This does have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but you notice there's no USB here. I'll show you where the USB is in a minute, because you will have to plug in your cell phone to the system to use those features. Okay, so we're not done with the screen. I'll just let you know that. So here's the shifter, and pretty standard. It's kind of big, but it's fine. It does. You got plenty of room to get around it and to get to the controls here. It's not a big deal. It's not. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse. So, two things will happen when we put it in reverse. One is the parking sensors will be activated. The next will be this really awesome camera system. So it has active guidelines, so as I turn the steering wheel, those lines will move. So you can see here on the top-down 360 view, it has guidelines as well. So we have the backup camera popped up, also the 360 view as well. So this has different views. So if we push the camera button over here, then we can have a much wider view, so it can see. It's very stretched out and distorted, but we can at least see if there's any cars coming either way. Or we can have a more linear view here. And it does have the rear cross traffic alert, so it will alert you if there's a car coming anyway. But it's nice sometimes just to see what's going on back there. Now, let me put it back in park. And I'm going to push the camera button again. Now we're going to have a front view and a top-down view. So you can see the vehicle is aimed directly towards the sun, so we have a little bit of a glare, but we can see pretty good. There in the front, we still have the top-down view. Now if I push the camera view, it gives us a different front view, so it's a wider angle view. Push it again, it gives us there on the sides of the vehicle, and then it goes away on the next press. So that gives, so that when we're not in reverse, these are the different views we can get simply by pushing the camera button. Now this works even if you're driving fast. You can still look at the road really fast around the vehicle, but it only pops up for just a few seconds, and you can kind of see it, and then it goes away. But I thought that was pretty neat. Okay, so neutral, drive, and then we have a manual mode. We can basically change the gears by bumping it like a ratchet shifter. It also has paddle shifters, so we can utilize those to either limit your high gear or to cycle through the gear ratios. Alright, so this is your sport mode switch here. So you just push it up to enter sport mode, and you'll know it's in sport mode because it'll show here, right there, it'll say sport mode. Pull it down, and then that goes away. So that's all that button does. It's different from all the other buttons, so kind of stands out. Electronic parking brake, you lift it up to engage it. It engages the rear wheels. To release it, you have to hold the brake and then push it down. Auto hold brake hold system. So this will hold the brake for you. If you have that turned on, it'll hold the brake for you while you're sitting at a stoplight or a stop sign or whatever. When you come to a complete stop, it'll just stay there until you push the accelerator. So we saw these buttons here. So this is the volume knob. This is the main control knob that you can bump to the left and right, up and down. You can turn it. You have these quick access buttons here for the radio system. And then you have some cup holders, and it has little articulating arms here. And it's a rubber floor, and it's open all the way to the bottom, so you can utilize this space for more than just cups. The armrest. So the armrest is very soft and comfortable, and it's actually softer than the seats in some ways. So we can lift this up, and it's spring loaded, so it doesn't fall down on you. So it actually flips up on you. And it has a little tray right here with a felt lining that's glued in the bottom apparently. And there's a compartment here, and there's a deeper compartment here, and then you have some stuff. Okay, so it has a 12-volt power supply connected to the battery, 2 USB charge ports, and this right here opens up, and this is where you'll find an SD card for the navigation system. So you don't want to mess with that really. So this is where you have to plug in your cell phone for the Android Auto Apple CarPlay system. So you plug it in here, and either you put your phone in here, or you can run the cord out, and you see there's actually places for the wires to go in and out of the compartment here. Camera focus properly. Right there. So the wires can go in and out of this compartment, so when you close it, it doesn't pinch them. It has a little spot there. Rear view mirror has a auto dim feature, so you can turn that feature on or off. So it's an auto dim rear view mirror. Home link garage door opener controls are here on the bottom. Place to put your sunglasses or something here, and it's a felt lining on the inside. You have some quick access reading lights. You can turn on all the interior lights by pushing that button, or have them turn on with the door if you have this like that. So this is the off button for that feature. So if you don't want the lights to turn on with the door, turn this off. Let's say you got a baby sleeping or something, you can go ahead and turn that feature off. There's an ambient light right in here that illuminates, gives you some really soft lights here in the center. You can check out my night video. I have some more details on the lighting of the vehicle. This is for your sunroof. We'll get to that in a minute. So the visor, it is a cloth material, same thing with the headliner, and it has a little clip right here, so you can put your driver's license or registration right in here. And this opens up, and there's a mirror. There's also a light up here, so you can see that. As I slide it, it turns on, and then this extends out, because the actual visor does not extend out. You have this extension here, which adds to your coverage instead of just shifting it. Basically the same thing on the other side. So the sunroof, it actually has a cover that covers 100% of the light. You can slide that back, and we can use the button here to lift it up, tilt it a little bit, close it, or we can slide it back. Push it again. That's as far back as it goes, basically. Okay. I don't know if you can see the subtleties here in the black and the brown. So the brown is a really dark color. So in the seat and there on the armrest on the door is a brown color. Okay, so let's look at the visibility in the back. So you have some pillars back there, and it's not really a big deal. You do have blind spots in every vehicle, so you can keep that in mind. But looking over my shoulder, you can see I can look out that window right there. So the pillars are not so bad, considering you have the camera system, you have the parking sensors, and the blind spot detection system, all that stuff as well. So anyways, thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment, like, dislike, that kind of stuff. That'd be nice. But thank you for watching, and I'll show the window sticker now, and I'll see you guys next time. So the camera system, I want to point that out. When I push the camera button, really fantastic. I can see all the way around the vehicle, and when I'm going slow, especially if I need to maneuver, get into a parking space, the top-down view is nice because it stitches the views together good enough to where things around, you can see those lines are straight. They're not distorted or anything. So that's really fantastic. You can also, I'll turn it on while I'm driving fast. That's pretty cool as well. One of the surprising things about this vehicle is its power. Its acceleration is incredible. for a 4-cylinder engine. I mean, it is really impressive. So that is a big deal, because a lot of these compact SUVs are usually underpowered. They're trying to go for the fuel economy, and they're not so much concerned with the power. And when you do, let's say they have a certain amount of power, but it's usually within a really high RPM range. So some vehicles, it's like you have to, the engine has to race and feels like the engine's going to jump out of the car in order to get into the power band of the vehicle to where it's actually feels like it's accelerating at a decent rate. This vehicle does not have that problem. You just feel it in all ranges of the RPMs, basically. There is some torque steer, even though this is an all-wheel drive vehicle. But as far as the acceleration, it's really nice. So that torque delivery, it being a turbo, you do have to get the RPMs a little bit up, but it's still really is able to accelerate more than the average person needs. Really, it's fine. It's good. The fuel economy, of course, isn't all that great compared to some other vehicles, but if you really want that performance over the fuel economy, and feel like you're, having fun driving to work or whatever, or accelerating, being able to merge in traffic on a highway, that kind of thing, then this is definitely a good option. The suspension is rather stiff, so it feels like more of a sportier suspension. It's not a boaty or a super smooth vehicle or anything like that. So if you don't mind, or if you actually like a stiff suspension, then this might be an option for you as well. But on a nice smooth road like this, it feels good. It's comfortable as far as the ride quality. The seats aren't really made for me, so I can't. I don't really care for them, but that's a subjective thing, so you can check them out for yourself. And the legroom is a little bit lacking for me, but as far as the acceleration and fun to drive factor, it's definitely there. The adaptive cruise control works really good. It keeps you at a, you could set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, but it keeps you at a pretty safe distance, a steady speed. It doesn't overshoot the speed at all. Also, the automatic high beams at nighttime work well. They don't blind people as much as some other vehicles. There's a couple times in which I had to turn it down. I had to, turn it off quickly because it was flashing at somebody because it didn't recognize their taillights. But it's real easy to do. You just turn the high beams off quickly and it's fine. It's a little bit easier to turn off than some other vehicles. That was the lane departure alert system. I got a little bit closer to that line. Now you might hear stuff moving around in the back. I just have my camera equipment back there and it's kind of moving around because I'm accelerating and stuff. But as far as just roominess, other than the knee room here on the right side and the comfort of the seat, it's there's your arms, you don't feel like claustrophobic here at the top. Plenty of headroom. The adjustments on the steering wheel is good. The brakes are really good too. nice and smooth, and they're not grabby. They're very responsive, but they're not overly done. You know, they're really nice and smooth. You can gradually come to a complete stop. And it doesn't feel like, it feels like you always have more pedal on your brake. So it always feels like you can, you know, really, you feel like there's more braking power there pretty much always in case you need it. And that's a good feeling to have. It feels, you're confident in that your ability to stop. And that's very important. And the transmission is fantastic. So, you know, a lot of CUVs and stuff have CVTs, continuously variable. This does not have that. This has a standard transmission, and it goes through the gears good. I mean, it's solid. There's no sloppiness to it. There's no hesitation. Even when it's cold, it seems to shift fine. So really impressed with the acceleration, the shifting of the transmission, and the suspension is a little stiff, but you know, that's a subjective thing. You might like that because it does give you nice and full control as far as driving control and everything. It's just, if you're on a bumpy road, you're gonna feel a lot of bumps. But overall, it feels like a quality car, especially when you just get out and you just look at the car. You're approaching the car, the paint, the color is great, but just the quality of the paint. There's something about the paint on this vehicle that just kind of stands out, and it looks like a higher end, you know, paint job. Then when you get inside and you start touching the materials, it feels good. You know, the seats they feel quality. They're a little bit too, not really designed for my particular situation, but they feel like a high quality seat. It has heated and cooled seats. It has a lot of features, a full camera system. There's a lot of positives to say. And the clarity of the new screen is fantastic, but you can see you can't see that far down the road, you know, since it's a horizontal screen instead of a vertical screen. You're a little bit limited on that, but it's not a huge deal. You can zoom in and out as well using the knob. But it's quiet on the inside too. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's very quiet, and you can probably hear it. You can hear cars going by. I don't know if you can hear the cars going by because it's pretty quiet. The engine isn't that loud like some other brands. You know, the road noise is not bad. It's just feels like a really refined vehicle. But anyways, I think this is, you know, just a quick test drive and give you an idea of what it's all about. It really test drives, you really have to do it yourself, because you have to experience a test drive. It's not like, you know, I can't convey every single detail, and also there's just so much to a test drive than what I can explain. So anyways, this gives you a general idea of what it sounds like, what it looks like, my particular impressions of it. Hopefully that's helpful, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.